Okay, folks, it's Support Adventure on YouTube today, and we have a question from Crazy Canuck number 55. You mentioned that Canada, I'm imagining this implies Western civilization, is bad for pleasure. Can you expand on what you mean by that? What, in your opinion, is bad about Western civilization pleasure? Also, really good video. I really enjoyed listening to your well thought out and articulated opinion. Well, thanks for that. And basically, the whole idea, I mean, we've got Tal on the line. So Tal, what do you think the gist of why Canada is bad for pleasure is? Let's focus in on Canada, where we have both lived large chunks of our lives.
Well, I find that Canada, people don't care as much about culture as they do about success, and
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people are hyper focused on success, and that largely shapes how people live and their value uh, changes. You know, they would rather work 5 extra hours to make more money than go to a cafe and chat with friends for 5 hours, for example. So
It's a
for me,
very individualist society where people pretty much keep to themselves. And
yeah.
it's like this whole packaged lifestyle of the Western civilization's epitome of the American dream is actually more alive in Canada than anywhere else. Is this American dream where you have your house in the suburbs, you've got your 2.5 children, you got your car, you got your job, everything's fine, you're watching TV, you're eating your microwave dinners and all that stuff. That's pretty much the default over there. And when I'm guessing this guy hasn't really traveled to as a lifestyle for longer periods of time, because then when you go back to Canada after that, it's really depressing because you've gone to all these places and you met other travelers who are super open and looking for experience and looking to socialize, meet people, have life enriching experiences, and you travel around the world and you sort of just you kind of just go back to Canada, and it's kind of depressing because everybody's like hesitant to meet up because they're so busy and stressed out, and it lacks that sort of social atmosphere that happens so easily in a lot of the places that we digital nomads like to frequent, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like okay, you can stop sharing the screen now. I would say it's kind of like you can fight to have a really active social life in Canada, but still, even the topics of conversation when you have a good night out with your friends in Canada are usually focused around what they're doing in work or school or any number of things, and it's all about them marketing themselves as an individual to you. Whereas in Europe, for example, Eastern Europe, what roped me into Serbia, what got me to live here was that people just like hanging out. The city's built for people to go and hang out in. There's beautiful urban areas with beautiful patterns, patios where you sort of just sit on the patio and watch life go by, watch people, walking down the pedestrian street. That's an event in itself. Going for a walk with friends is something that people do. And while those things do occur in Canada, I find that the whole construct of them is a little bit different, whereas it's more like transactional. You're meeting, so you know, it's like it's and that really makes a good society for business when you have a transactional nature of what people get from each other and how they work with each other and what they think of each other, and it's all about the individual and success and what can you do for me sort of mentality, and this is me, that's you, and here's the boundary. Yeah, we can meet, but I'm not going to share too much because I don't know you. And people here and in a lot of places where we like to go are a lot more open. Would you say that that's an accurate depiction, Tal?
Yeah, 100%. And I think a reason for that is culture, especially how it relates to history. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of these places we go to, they have, hundreds and hundreds of years of cultural identity. And it's very obvious in the food and the architecture, and that seeps into how people act with each other and kind of think about the world. While in Canada, because we're, uh, the Canadian identity doesn't really bring people together with a common history or a common culture. There's an obvious Canadian architecture, Canadian food. It's all kind of a mix of everything else that creates a multicultural society where you can feel all cultures, but also you don't really feel any
It's like
at the
having a
same
bunch of
time.
food in the freezer. That's the amount of culture that you get. It's like you deep freeze your culture when you move to Canada, and you can take it out at like family gatherings. It's like, let's eat our ethnic cuisine, or you can go to an ethnic restaurant where the people cook some sort of reasonable approximation of what food tastes like back home for you. And it's like you're not getting the real live living thing. You're getting little packets of culture that are sold to you, and that
Yeah,
are, it's they're so, I don't know. It's like it's a
really good
consequence of the
example with
immigrant.
music.
Yeah, the it's a consequence of the immigrant culture, and the types of people that move to Canada are very much seeking that middle class ideal of having an easy life, having a steady job, stable income, good circumstances, and a career that's like a surefire thing. And that's why people go to Canada, and those are not the most adventurous people. So I realized I wasn't one of those people that would be just happy with career and material success, and that's what led me on this crazy journey with Support Adventure to move to Serbia and now travel the whole world and find like-minded people who are wanting to give it a go to live in another place that is a little bit more uh, mm, vibrant, let's say, in terms of the experiences that you have, less transactional. So yeah,
Couldn't have
that's
said
pretty.
it better myself.
Yeah, so it's like, but if you want to have more of that type of atmosphere, I mean, Montreal is a lot more happening on a social level than Toronto or Vancouver for sure. Probably a lot more. I've never been to Calgary, but I don't hear that it's the most lively social
No,
scene
no,
there
no.
either, right? And I feel that in Ontario, where I grew up, there's a dominant sort of Anglo-Saxon or Protestant culture, which is very much just like, yeah, you work, and the reward from life comes after you work. And your life is about work, and after you do that, you can enjoy. Whereas, like in the other places, life is like you wake up every morning and you're looking for those little like pleasures of life, and work is something that you do to sort of like make ends meet. It's a different sort of perspective on life, and definitely the Protestant, let's work, let's the Western capitalist mentality of success over everything, and it's all about me and what I can get from the world, and providing value so I get money and all that stuff. The transactional nature of it, I mean, that's like, it leads to a much more successful society, but that might not necessarily make you happy. And if you're not one of those people who's made happy by that, and if you view the rat race and the whole thing as like some sort of hollow enterprise that you've just sort of been subscribed to based on where you ended up living or being born, I mean, then the time is now to get out, and you can actually, through remote working, you can still take advantage of those economies and the economic prosperity that can be associated with having a job in the West, while living in a place where people are more relaxed, more authentic to themselves, more into hanging out with each other and enjoying life in a way that's just like more sincere. And that's why I started Support Adventure.
Yeah,
That's it. This was a nice little video, wasn't it?
yeah, definitely.
All right.